Yo, welcome, one and all. This is the Oneness Sports Talk. First and foremost, my name is Hadjilexx. As a student of GC Foster College, I think I have a little bit of knowledge about sports, coaching, teaching, and so forth, so on. So, welcome to Sports Talk, Oneness Sports Talk. You could have been anywhere else in the world, but you're here with me, sharing and enjoying positive speaking and a little bit of everything on sport itself. Well, today, we are going to talk about the one and only Mr. Bailey. Okay? Let me share him on the screen so you guys can see what's going on. Yes, Mr. Leon Bailey. And we're talking about his game played, injuries, and all, and his struggles, ups and down through it all. National footballer. As I put a little bit of his stats on the screen, you guys can see his ranking. I don't know if this year, maybe last year, or year before last when he was on top of his game, but as we can see for this year, he is struggling. Now, let me just say a little bit about this. I am not here to bash or try to tear down any one character, but I am here to say and speak my opinion and try to keep it factual. You understand? So we won't talk about what's not and give wrong information. So let's go. Thank you guys. We're here talking about Leon Bailey, the man, the legend, the one and only Mr. Leon Bailey, player of Aston Villa, former player of Bayern Leverkusen, and list goes on. I became a fan of Leon Bailey when I first watched him. Not really watched him, but when I first heard about him, and as a person who watch a lot of football, aka soccer. I am a Jamaican, so don't get me wrong when you hear I say football is not the American football. It's the football which is known otherwise around the world. American calls it soccer, but we and everyone else football. Okay? So as I'm saying, I became a fan of Leon Bailey few years prior. Like I think it was 2001, somewhere around there, when I heard about him watching a game and highlights of the Bundesliga when they were talking about this young Jamaican talent who was performing exceptionally well in the Bundesliga. But when I when I watched the game, he was injured and I had to wait, and then we don't have a schedule just set just to watch a specific game. You understand? So we wait and see and keep looking for Mr. Bailey. Don't know what happened, but either way, something went and we had a break in transmission. But as I was saying, yes, about Mr. Leon Bailey, watched him a few games and he was raw, need a little bit more fine tuning. But based on what I saw at that time, I knew he would be a force to reckon with based on what I saw, not what we saw, but what I saw. And listening to the commentators, they were speaking highly of this young Jamaican talent. So I was excited because it's not often we get the name Jamaican in the top flight, European games. We had a few here and there, but most of the times I hear about a Jamaican player. He has been playing for, like, representing other countries, not the black, gold, and green. So we were here waiting and seeing that if he would be a final part of the national team or the Reggae Boys to per se. But over the years, we saw, and then he played exceptionally well in the Bundesliga. You understand? And then, when you start to shine and your name start to call, you get referred to clubs who want you to come and play. And he was linked to quite a few clubs. Even my own club, Manchester United, he was linked to the great United. I was excited because, in being biased towards the clubs, I wouldn't mind he came to Man United, but it's not me picking the team or anything, so we have to wait and see. And he went on and took his talent to one Aston Villa. Came in and Aston Villa was coming off the bench, a lot of miscommunication between him and the coach, because at the time I think he came in, it was Steven Gerrard who was the coach, and style of playing and all that. So he wasn't getting the fair look that I believe and that many people believe that he should have gotten at that time. Anyway, he came on and did his little thing and keep staying hungry and waiting for his opportunity to shine. You understand? And Then Mr. Emery came in as the head coach for Aston Villa, and he ignited a fire inside Leon Bailey's stomach. Pause. You understand? No pun intended. But he was like a brand new player, playing good games and stuff. But over the years, the thing I believe that being stopping Leon Bailey from being one of those superstar in the game, you understand, to bring a status like the great Raheem Sterling, or somewhere at the far, I have to refer him to a Jamaican player, no point attending to other international players, but we're talking about a Jamaican talent. So let me talk about a Jamaican talent who took his talent to English Premier League and to England. And we have seen that Ryan Bailey has, listen, I'm calling Leon Bailey and Ryan Sterling, Ryan Bailey. What's going on? But anyway, please forgive my misspoken words. But as I was saying that we saw Ryan Sterling became a focal point in England, and he was a force to be reckoned with even in the English Premier League, with the extent that he was at Liverpool, left Liverpool and went to Man City, won a few cups and stuff at Man City, and we saw him went to Chelsea, and we know what happened at Chelsea. And good talent still have more to show or more to say in his football career. So let's wish him all the best on his endeavor. So let's get back to Leon Bailey. Okay then, so one of the things what I realized watching the English Premier League was Bailey's injuries. And I believe that he has been getting the same type of injuries over the years. Nothing to like ankle or, hurt. It's always the same type of injuries. And I'm going to show you guys to prove a point that something is wrong with his training regimen, because I checked and I asked around and was having a conversation online with one of my batchmates in college, who is Coach Minzy, who was the coach's desk. Excuse me, Minzy, if I spoil the name of your podcast, but the coach's desk, I think that's the name of his podcast. And we were there and I was talking. The conversation was around Leon Bailey and his injuries. And I asked about his weight room and his training regiment. And he said he heard from, I think it's Leon Bailey's father, that Leon does calisthenics. And that is good because it improves body health and flexibility and all of that. But we can't leave out the weight room. You understand? Because we have seen how many great athletes that injuries took away from their career and even ended a lot of them career. Because when you become more injured and when you're not reliable for the club or your team, eventually they're going to get rid of you, because nobody's going to pay you to go to the hospital or to be in recovery all the time. So the best ability is availability. If so, we were talking and we heard, and he said that Leon doesn't do a lot of weight room. He did less bare minimal of weightlifting and stuff, but he focused more on the body weight exercises. And I believe that which is when it is good for that, but we still need, and we can't leave out the weight room, because we know football is a more physical and pounding, you understand, whole heap of weight and stop and go on the muscle. And if you do sport and you know about sport, even track and field athletes know about the muscle and strengthening the muscle equally, because as anyone who goes to college know, in kinesiology knows about the push and pull. You understand? And Newton law says to every action, you have an equal or opposite reaction. And I remember my lecturer in college, you were talking about the muscle and where the muscle works. And he referred to the amount of force, even a car tire on the road, when the car rotates, the force it put on the ground is the same amount of force it used to push the car, to propel the car forward. Now, if one tire is not with the right amount of weight, or it's with a less amount of tread on the tire, you're going to have a spin out. The car is going to pull to one side. So that's where you have a push and pull on an equal level, not too much science. Let's get back to the thing. So basically, most of the times Leon is injured, is hamstring, mostly muscle injuries. And if you know, a lot of these muscle injuries comes from weak muscle. So let me pull up and we can see. I'm gonna put on the screen and show you guys what I'm talking about, so you guys can see. I went online, did my research just to see all the time the record of his injuries, just to show you guys that the injuries that he's getting are similar. So give me a second and let me put that up so I can go through it. So let me get the first one, and then we can go from there just to see. Hold up a second. All right. So I don't want it like that. Don't open with that. Open with photos. I really want to get this mixed up. That's the second one. So let us minimize that and get the first one. So I'm going to do through the years of his injuries so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Okay. And if I zoom in on this, let me share the screen with you guys so you guys can see. So this is the second one. Let me go back to the first one. Okay. 2 and 3 and 4, 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. I can tell. Is it that someone new? Okay. So let me zoom in on this and then I'll share the screen so you guys can see what I'm talking about. So let's go to it. Okay. So we're going to share the screen and see what's going on. So if you guys looked on his injuries, right? This is 2017 injury, right? The unknown infection, shoulder injury, hamstring, torn muscle fiber, muscle injury. See it? Look again. Okay, this is like a muscle broken toe, so that you can't do not with it. Another muscle injury. All right. So you guys can see that. Let's go to the second one so you guys can see what I'm talking about. So this one now. Okay, that's the first one, same one again. So let's close this tab, go to the next tab, and we're going to open the tab and you guys can see. So let's open this tab right here and you guys can see what I'm talking about. All right. So let me zoom in on this again so you guys can see. Okay. So that freezed up. So let me close out this, stop, and I'll go back to the screen record, screen share again, and show you guys that most of his injuries are the same, right? So let me zoom in and you guys can see. If you watch the date and time of all his injuries, see, thigh problem, ligaments, muscle, hamstring, unknown, hamstring, thigh, unknown injury, muscle, hamstring, muscle problem. So if you guys realize, let me stop this screen share and get back. So basically what I'm showing you guys that most of his injury is the same type of injury, right? And excuse me, when a player gets an injury like that, right? And his injuries are consistent, we gotta change training program, weight room program, and even your intake, what you take, your food, the type of food you eat, your menu, everything gotta change. But it is consistent with Leon Bailey that most of his injuries are muscle, hamstring. It's all over. It's just muscle. I've had a broken toe, had a shoulder injury, but if you looked on what I've shown you guys can see that most of his injuries is muscle, and muscle problem comes with weak muscle. You understand? One muscle is stronger than one muscle is weak. It's an up and down. It's a scale, and we have to have the scale leveled out in order to be physically strong and fit. You understand? So if you name the great players in the history of football itself, injury is further away from their name. You understand? I think I've watched Maradona, but when I saw him play, it was at the tail end of his career. So I couldn't say, and I've never seen Pele apart from highlights and stuff, so I cannot say I've watched Pele. You understand? But I have the opportunity to watch great athletes, Zlatan Ibrahimovic, Zinedine Zidane, Robinho, Roberto Carlos, all of the Robertos them, you understand? And Cafu, Dinelson, Ronaldo, Rivaldo. Yeah, you name the R's. We have seen them. And Robin Van Persie. The list goes on and on and on and on. And what makes them great as they are and they was is being available. Less injuries. Because you cannot be a vocal point in any club or country when you have the same type of injury. So, not to say I'm bashing Leon Bailey, but based and what we have seen and what I've shown you guys, all of these injuries are preventable injuries and things that you can work on. So for you to be ahead of the game and be at top of your game, you have to show that you are reliable and you are great at what you do. You understand? I would never try to bash Leon Bailey, because we have seen him and the things that he can do when he's fit and fully healthy. No, I'm not a fan of Aston Villa, but even today, Saturday, February 27th, I watched the game. I was watching his game, Aston Villa, and even the commentator was saying that he is not running at the defenders like how he used to. And when we look at it, you can see for the time he went to Roma, he was injured. So check it out. I'm just going to look at it. I'm going to go share the screen again. You know what? Let me share the screen. So it's better to show that you guys can see what's going on than me just talking. You understand? So even though I'm talking, the proof is in the pudding. Okay, so for his time in Roma, this is what was recorded on his injuries. See, the first one here in December. No, we can start from when he went to Roma, the 8th. See, okay, again, look, he was out from the 20th of the 3rd to the 14th of the 4th. All right, that is Aston Villa. So he was injured in Aston Villa when they made the move and sent him to Roma. Injured from the 8th to the 10th, right? Look again. Not even 2 weeks or 3 weeks. He got injured again. See it there? And coming over again, he got injured. And if you guys look, and these injuries, muscle, hamstring, muscle problem. So the muscle bug keeps showing all of his injuries. If you guys take a look and see what I'm showing you guys, that all Leon's injuries are muscle, right? And there was an athlete who got injured a lot, and then we saw him transform and went on to win Champions League, win La Liga, multiple Champions League. You know who was that athlete? Gareth Bale. And what turned Gareth Bale's career around was his training regimen. If you guys looked at Gareth Bale when he went on that magnificent run again, he was a lot muscular. You understand? If you look at Messi, it doesn't show, but he's physically strong because he hits the gym and lift the weights to keep the muscle strong. Cristiano Ronaldo, always in the gym, lifting weights, and he wasn't bulky, but he did the right amount of weights while his diet is set to reflect. You understand? So what we would want from Leon Bailey is change up your thing. Go back to the old school. In the old iron, man. You don't have to lift weights to get ripped and bulky, But lift the weights and get the muscle strong and get back that zest that you had. Because me not lie, bro. Watching you today, I could see that your confidence wasn't there. One of the game, all right. If you, Mr. Leon Bailey, watch this podcast, yeah, prove me wrong, right? Today, when you was playing, before they took you out, I think it was like a minute or two before the substitution came in the second half, before they substituted you. You had a ball and you cut inside, and you had like a couple of seconds, a couple minutes, milliseconds, where usually in that position you cut it in on your favorite foot, you would get a quick snapshot to the far post, and you cut in, and then you cut in and try to make a play. Like you didn't have that to shoot at goal. Even the commentator said that, I don't know if you know that you was coming off the field, but the commentator said you lose the ball and you just walk. You didn't try to run back. And that is not like you, and that I know that has a lot to do with confidence. And is either you're coming on in the second half, or you're coming off on the second half. You're not playing 90 minutes a game. And I know that can do a lot of things to your confidence. But come on now, bro. If you're not scoring like how you used to, you understand? You're just a role player, and you know what happened to role player, right? And if you're not performing, you're going to go to the bench, and then look more from this. We're going to hear say Leon Bailey is sold or send out on a loan, because let's keep it a buck, bro. You fall off, and only when you fall off and you're not performing up to standard, that's when you go on loan. They have never sent a player who is on peak form on loan before. Never. When them send you on loan, them send you on loan because they want you to go on loan and go play for a next club and to show that you are just to get you to get back that fire. You understand? That fire where them are look forward or look for from you. So that's most of the times when you go on loan because you're not perform up to standard. So they try to send you somewhere where it can ignite back that fire and get you back to that playing type, that playing person, who you was. And even bro, nah lie, as a national baller, we needed you, but I'm not going to get into that because we know there's a lot of politics in it and the treatment is not fair. So for that, I can understand and I know for a fact that some decision was made and some things were made. But on the other hand, I know Jamaican crowd and spectators, they really don't give you the support like that. And you haven't stand out as a true international player per se. But listen, like for me and somebody who understand the ball game, watch a lot of ball game and play the ball game, I can know when you're playing in a team which is not a unit, or what them say, when the team not gel. We can understand that there's a lot of miscommunication, bad play, poor play. And a lot of times Jamaica team look like a recreational team. Pick up ball game them and play. So can't knock you on that, but we need you in next month. We're going to need you because we want to qualify for the World Cup. And I'm going to talk about that in a little, but now we are talking about you, Mr. Bailey, and how you're playing. This is the Leon Bailey I want to see. This is the one I want to see. Let me find. I'm going to look for that picture of the Leon Bailey. What I watched and I want to see. So let me go back and share. And just a quick share, I'll share and show you guys of the Leon Bailey that we Jamaicans has grown to appreciate. Okay, so let me share the picture. Let me share the screen again and show you of the Leon Bailey that we know and appreciate. You remember this person here? I know you should remember this person here. This is the Leon Bailey that we and Aston Villa Club loved. You understand? That are the Leon Bailey what we know about. This is the Leon Bailey who was terrorizing the clubs them. When you cut in on the one left, people and the whole place felt it. So this is the Leon Bailey we want to see. No joke thing. You understand? This is the Leon Bailey we grew. So look at this. Let me share the screen. So this is the Leon Bailey we want to see. And this is the Leon Bailey. That's the Leon Bailey we want to see. See that? Look, where is this Leon Bailey? Because this was a confident Leon Bailey who took charge of games, turn the ball game, and show him talent and him class. You understand? Look at that. See, assisting. That is the Leon Bailey that we grew and know. And now we wanted to find back that person. Look at it. Cutting in on your left foot and creating a lot of damage. Look at that. That is the Leon Bailey. This is the Leon Bailey we know. You understand? Scoring goals. For copyright infringement, I don't want to play too much of it. Let me get back to the main thing. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is the Leon Bailey we know, and that is the Leon Bailey we loved, and that is the Leon Bailey everybody wanted to see and wanted to play with. Not the Leon Bailey that we're seeing now, and I know it's a bit of lack of confidence causing this for Mr. Leon Bailey. It's a easy fix situation, okay? Just you going, changing your program, changing your diet, get a different menu. I think I heard that you became a vegan. I'm not sure if I'm right on that. If I'm wrong, excuse me for giving false information. But if you are a vegan, then you are not the only one, bro. You have a lot of vegan in the ball game and in the football game. So we're not going to dispute that. So, ladies and gentlemen, as a fellow Jamaican who loved the sports of football, who wanted to see Jamaica play in this year's World Cup and would love to buy a ticket to go watch a game, especially when it comes to the backyard of New York, would like to buy a ticket, go watch. Would like to see Jamaica though, and just to go to the World Cup because Brazil are play, because we support a lot of Jamaicans support Brazil. But I would love to go and support my country of birth, You understand? But now we are talking about Mr. Leon Bailey and basically his rise and fall and the same injuries that has been plaguing him for years now. And that is not something that he cannot fix. It's an easy fix, and it's so easy to be fixed for you to be struggling with this kind of thing. Okay? So if you know what I know and I know what you know, simple fix, Mr. Bailey, and for the next couple of years, let us see you reach even winning the Premier League now. But I don't want you to win the league on the bench. I want you to be one of the main contributors to your club and to winning this league or whatever league you're playing. You understand? And even though it's Man United, my club, the club that I support, I will never stop supporting Manchester United, even through the struggles right now. You understand? Even through our struggles, you have to remember that back in the days, or a few years ago, we were the team to talk about. Everything is a rise and fall situation. It's about how long you're going to fall for and how you're willing or how hard you're going to work to rise again. It's my 2 cents on Leon Bailey and his injuries and the player that we watch grow. We heard about his story, read about his story, watched news and things about his story about Leon Bailey leaving Jamaica to the world of the unknown with his father and brother, and through it all, rise above it and became a household name. So we just want to let you know that don't forget about the things that you have done to get to where you are, because you still have a lot more to accomplish. So whatever comfort zone you're in, me I beg you, come out of the comfort zone and get back to the Leon Bailey that was scoring goal and was a vocal point in Aston Villa and other clubs. You understand? Because if you check back the levels, you understand there was a time when Leon Bailey name I get called to the Real Madrid and the Barcelona and the Manchester United, and you name the club, your name was linking to all of them. You understand? So we hope and pray that you can get back to it. And let me just put it out there. You understand? As a little small podcast sports channel. You understand? It's a small sports podcast channel. If Mr. Bailey, if you see fit and you'd like to give me an interview and let's talk a little bit about what's going on. You understand? Just to keep it $1,150 about what's going on. You understand? You can drop a DM and I'll leave the email address where it should be. Feel free to shoot me a DM and we can set up a day where we can do an interview, and if you want, we can stream it live and we'll do the announcement and do that. So thank you guys for listening to me watching this podcast and me talking about sports and football, and one of the ballers that I truly wish all the best and the greatness of, that is Mr. Leon Bailey. You understand? So if you have watch it this far, please like, share, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell that when we upload a new video, new podcast, you will be the first to be notified. Thank you for watching. And this is Oneness Sports Talk. It's your boy Hadjilexx, the host with the most. Thank you. As I said, put God first and live and love and laugh forever. Peace. I'm out. Yo.